was when I was like, I'm number one on the call sheet. Be a leader. Set an example. Show up on time. Do your job. Work harder than anybody. Everybody. Just so that your team can trust you. And that was that.
Good answer. Good answer. Now, this next question is to Justin and Jermaine, and you guys kind of mentioned it earlier, so we're reiterating a little bit. But along with Neo, I would say that you two are definitely the comedic relief in the movie, and a lot of the heart that goes into the movie. And I really felt, as growing up, loving it. And for anyone who's watched Stomp the Yard, you can really feel the dynamic that the three of you created, and adding Columbus into that. What was it like creating that dynamic? And if Columbus, if you want to add into that, because they were your homies as well.
Absolutely. So I'll be honest with you. I did, never met Neo. Didn't know his acting experience, and seeing of him the first time on screen, I was like, yo, this dude is really talented. Or even just the scene, I think we were on, the first scene we had where we were just checking out Theta. In the room. We were in the room, everything. His comedic timing was so dope, and it was so easy to just go back and forth with him. On and off. Like, he's just a jokester. He's funny as all heck. But I've always been known, before I did a movie drop, Great Debaters, I've always just been comedy. I just always did comedy, you know what I'm saying? So being, the comedic actor along with Justin and Neo, it was very refreshing, it was fun, and everybody's made it really easy and light, you know what I'm saying? So I definitely had a great time doing that.
Justin, what about you?
Yeah, so I could say, I feel proud because I remember Neo kind of joined the rehearsals a little later. Everybody late, I know, right? He joined. No. Cause we was kind of like doing step. We was, cause it took like 30 days. I don't know what he was doing, a movie.
I remember this day, and this all gonna come back. So Neo was there, remember, but he left. He left because his single at the time, So Sick, blew up, didn't it?
Yeah.
All right, so he left. He had to go and promote, do his thing, do his artist thing. He came right back and jumped right in and learned the choreo just as fast, and still had to go and act. And I was like, man. But I'm sure they can capitalize on this a little more.
Yeah. So what I was gonna get to is, I remember he came one day and we was eating lunch together, and he was sitting by himself, like off to the side, and I told him, I was like, yo, come on. I was like, get over here. You know what I'm saying? Because like we was all at a table eating. Cause he was almost like the new, when you like the new kid at school. You know what I'm saying? You don't know nobody. You like, oh, I don't know where I kind of get in or whatever. So I was like, man, come over here and come eat with us. So when he came over, that's when we was able to really like break down whatever. You know what I'm saying? Become like that brotherhood and really bring him into the mix and start that camaraderie. And Jermaine is correct. Neo is naturally funny. Like he's a jokester for real. And that's how we started to build that bond. I just remember that personally. And let me tell you a little Neo. Never mind.
Let's slow down. Go ahead. Y'all meant to start telling. Y'all meant to start telling people business. Yeah.
Actually, all of you mentioned it earlier, but again, we're reiterating. Most of the film takes place in Atlanta, Georgia, and at a HBCU called Truth. But you guys filmed at real universities.
Clark Atlanta, Morehouse, Morris Brown.
Yeah, some amazing locations. What was it like?
Give it up for those schools. Amazing people who live.
As a fan and watcher of the movie, I always felt like I wanted to be there. I wanted to be on those grounds. It really felt real to my generation of us growing up. What was it like shooting there? I would love to know your experiences, like on set, on the quad, in the arena during the final competition. What was it like in those spaces?
Columbus is asking me to answer it, But here's the reality of it for me. I didn't go to college, so I didn't have anything to compare it to. But I fell in love with the thought of what that experience made me feel like in terms of going to college. Like, I'm like, damn, like, this was an incredible, like, you could feel how other fraternities and sororities rocked being on those campuses, and we were just kind of like borrowing their turf, but it felt like it was real time. Yeah, it felt like it was so real. Also because as fraternities that were against each other, we weren't allowed to really hang out. We were kept separate. We even stayed in separate hotels. Yeah, because so when we met each other and when it was time to battle on those turfs, it felt like, it felt super real and super authentic. So, cheers to the black colleges.
Yeah.
HBCUs.
Yeah.
What he's saying is super factual, and it took until I think these last like 3 years of my life traveling and meeting people like you, Sarah, that tell me, look what you did. You made me want to go to school, or you inspired this. And that's when I realized the true responsibility of what we did. I didn't realize it. We were in a bubble. We're doing what we're doing. But it felt like I went to college. I didn't get to go to college. I went straight out of high school, straight to Broadway. So I didn't get that college experience. I wasn't a part of a fraternity, but I'm part of one now, Theta Nu Theta Incorporated. Hello.
And actually, to play off of that, Columbus, like you were saying, I grew up in the Northeast, and
what part of the Northeast?
Massachusetts.
Oh, Massachusetts.
Yeah.
You're a patriot.
So growing up in the area, honestly, when I was younger, especially seeing the movie, I had very little knowledge about HBCUs, what they were, their historical significance. And so maybe some of the other cast members can answer, what was that like for you learning, or what was it like portraying that and realizing the historical significance and the representation of having HBCUs on screen? Yes, Chuck.
So I did graduate from an HBCU from North Carolina A&T State University. So to me, it was very important to make sure that the movie was authentic. Every bit from of course, the script to the background, which is, we got to, of course, as you know, do the movie on an HBCU. Most importantly, we use HBCU students. So they were our extras. So it was it felt real because it was real. It was real. So to me, that was the most important thing, to make sure that it looked authentic, because I knew, as a member of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated and as a graduate of North Carolina A&T State University, I know they would talk junk. The schools will talk junk, the Divine Nine will talk junk, and it would be crazy. And in the beginning, before the movie even came out, it was heat already, because they thought that we were tarnishing their precious HBCUs, because all they saw was Chris Brown get killed or fight. So they said, we're not going to allow them to make us look like we're gangsters. And they were really against it, until the producer, Will Packer, decided to go to all of the Divine Nine, to all of the presidents, and show them the movie. And when they got to see the movie, they said, okay, this is cool. We support this. We back you up. Yeah.
Amazing. Okay, so, Carl, did you want to say something?
What'd you say, though? Oh, Lord, here come Hard Color.
Sorry, I'll make this as quick as I can. I was blessed to book this movie in production, so I didn't have to audition. So very early in the process, there were 10 of us that had to show an executive at Sony what?
We're going there. Hot Carl, man. This is why his name is Hot Carl. He be coming in hot.
And could you hold it? I'm trying to get this. Hey, well, also, I'm a graduate of HBCU as well. I went to Florida A&M University. So I'm a rattler. So I identify very easily with the pythons, you know. So that was it. And yeah, so just like Chuck said, to specs, it was very much so real, and it felt real. And that was the value that I brought to it. So, and I marched with the March of 100. So the percussiveness, the rhythm, the whole vibe, you know, it was what I knew. It was the culture. So it was a really dope experience.
So, thanks, Herbert. That was awesome. Okay, so the next two questions are what Columbus called last night the Oprah questions. So we're gonna get to those.
Here we go.
We're
Buckle up, guys.
We're gonna get to those, and then we'll have some super fun questions and expanding more on the dancing. Okay.
Okay, buckle up.
So, the first question is:
Strap in.
There are many themes in this movie, and the most important one we're gonna get to later. So I promise that one's coming. But I would be remiss if we didn't talk about that in this film, it really promotes the importance of supporting and respecting women. And not only in general, but in our industry, especially right now, that's super important. One of my favorite, things about this movie is that DJ, he notices everything about April. He tells Grant when he's mistreating her, and that he tells Dr. Palmer that it's April's choice of what she wants to do with her life.
Darren, we still got a problem right now. By the way, keep going.
Okay. I was not going to address that. Okay.
17 years.
So, Columbus, as DJ, and I know that you're very good friends with Megan. I was just wondering if you could talk about the importance in portraying that on screen. And this was really, again, I was 12 when I saw this movie, and it was one of the first films, and still one of the only, that I've ever seen where that message is really portrayed as being important. I mean, look where our industry is right now. So
I'm going to just answer it real simply and quickly. Being an artist, being a woman in this industry is hard. You have to, being a man in it is hard, but women have to go to, they got to do a whole bunch of stuff, and so I want to be I'm a protector of ingenues. All of them that I've worked with, from Megan to Kerry Washington to Kate Beckinsale to Zoe Saldana, they're my sisters. But actually, Megan is my sister. Like, we didn't come out the same womb, but we were raised together. So when we got on that set, she showed up for me, and I just wanted to make sure we were protected. We had to take 3 shots just to kiss, because we literally grew up like brother and sister. So it was very. It was the first time an ingenue showed up for me, and it just taught me how to show up for them from then on.
So Columbus, continuing on, going back to DJ and his entire journey, the reason why he ends up going to Truth and why he gets exposed later in the movie. Sorry if I'm spoiling this for anybody. But it happens because there's a fight that breaks out in the result of DJ's brother's death. And he gets convicted because he only has a public defender who can't even remember his name. Again, going back to, I was 12 when I first saw this movie. It was the first time that I had really seen a character
Just you out.
with...
Love you, boy.
Everybody give a round of applause to Justin Hyatt.
Iris.
Thank you, Justin, for coming.
Don't want the hairline out right now. It's not lined up. You stupid, Justin. Keep going.
So, for me, when I first saw this movie, because I was so young, it was my first time really understanding the injustice in our criminal system and learning about, wrongful convictions and mass incarcerations and how our system needs to be fixed. And I think that that's such an important thing to represent in a film. And for anyone else who wants to talk about that, how did you guys feel about portraying that story?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question one more time?
Wasn't even listening, man. Come on, Goofy. Sheesh, man. Missed the whole question. This the dude in class, man, like, man, don't let Goofy read, man. We gonna be here all day. No, in all seriousness, that is an important thing. You know, when we as black men, black minorities, Puerto Rican, Dominican, Mexican, Peruvian, El Salvadorian, Guatemalan, we get ran through the system. If we don't got no money, what they giving us? A public defender that's just doing paperwork. You're just to get them through here. Take this plea. Take this deal. And even if you didn't do nothing, so that was real. That was real.
Okay, guys, we're finally getting into the dance questions. Let's go.
You went Oprah on us. So you were like, sheesh, can I get my scuba gear on, please? Before we go this deep.
Now, according to my research,
I have my wetsuit on.
according to my research, prior to filming, you guys had 3 months of rehearsals, 8 hours a day.
35 days.
35
According
days.
to Country, she confirmed it.
Yeah.
35 hot days. Hot.
So,
It was spicy.
For anyone who has seen this film,
Yep. Yeah, you pre-trained them.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's true about when we finally got the cast together, all the dancers, we did have around 35 days. But before that, I had Brian White. Columbus never wanted to come. Columbus, I was like, Columbus, are you coming? I got this. And he did, so I wasn't worried about Columbus. And then you were there, and Laz Alonso. We had about, 2 or 3 weeks about rehearsal. Yeah, so that's when the rehearsal process started. I started with 3 actors, 4 when he wanted to come.
So let me tell you about the rehearsal process.
Yes,
So
please.
Chuck had the thetas, okay? But he's a choreographer on the whole movie. So he was allowed to go in between and see what y'all was doing, and then come in and be like, all right, y'all. We like, oh, they over there, but we can hear them, like all kind of stuff going on.
Yeah.
Man, what was y'all doing over there, lady?
It's really.
And they was all buff and sweaty.
Well, Columbus.
And Jermaine was like, man, I'm trying, Mom. Yo, let me tell you a funny story. So we went, because I was taking niggas to the gym, okay? And so I would be up at 5 o'clock in the morning before set, running to the gym, working, blah, blah, blah. And we had to do a Stone Mountain scene. Everybody get over there and think they can take their shirts off. The director comes out, he's like, Frenchie was like,
It's one of the best scenes in the whole movie.
Okay, you're good. You're gonna have to put your shirt on. Hey, Jermaine had his shirt on already. He was ready.
I will say though, that's one of the most iconic scenes in the whole movie.
Pedro, remember Pedro? Pedro thought he could have his shirt off. Pedro thought he could have his shirt out. He was smooth body. They was like, director was like, put your shirt on. Facts. Carl, was it fact? Carl, you got through. You made it, buddy. Smooth by a hair of your skinny chin.
One of the things that I love about, the differences between the Mute Gamma styles and the Theta styles is the Mu Gamma styles are very more intense, more athletic. And the Theta styles are not only more intricate, but I would say more theatrical, you know? And like, it's kind of like the football players versus the theater kids. And as a theater kid, you know, so, but you know, if any of the Mu Gammas want to expand on their styles as well, Chuck, you can go first, and then the Mu Gammas can expand. And
Yeah, for me, while I was choreographing, it was important that they look completely different. And sometimes as a choreographer, you know, you tend to want to use some of your same moves, and you're like, okay, wait, I can't do that. So for me, my references were Mu Gamma Xi was like Omega Psi Phi to me. We made sure they were bigger, they were more buff, there was their chants, everything was just stronger and bigger, like you said. The Thetas, we were kind of like everywhere. We had tall, short, dark, light, skinny, big, little. Yeah, we looked like the underdogs.
yeah,
We were more like the underdogs.
yeah,
And that's,
right
what made,
fighters.
and that's what made it look real, because you're like,
Yeah.
how are they going to be able to beat that? You
Yes.
know? So for me, again, I made sure that our movements were a lot more faster, more intricate, and and we had dance. We did a little bit more dancing than they did as well. That was the difference for me. Yeah.
Goofy, actually, can you expand on that? Being a Mu Gamma?
I can expand now. My mind was a little bit all over the place over there. But
As
yes,
a Mu Gamma?
yeah, as a Mu Gamma,
Your
yes.
choreography?
Yes, the choreography was very intricate. More of our style was more of the formations we had. That was different than the Thetas, with the intricate styles of the stepping that Chuck taught us. So it was pretty mind-boggling. Some of the steps, like in the audition, it was a lot of things that you had to really prepare your body to do. Because as a dancer, you know, as a hip hop dancer, there's some things that you don't do with the stepping, you know.
Yeah.
So with the stepping, you know, it's more of the sound of the, you know, the hands and the claps. And he incorporated that with the stepping.
Yeah.
So it made our style a little bit different than the Thetas.
Yeah, there's a lot more jumping and a lot more kicking, a lot more of that. Yeah, would you like to expand on that?
Wait, let me just add to this.
Yes,
When
Chuck.
when choreographing the Mu Gamma Xis, I did more traditional style
Yes.
stepping, which
Yes,
HBCUs were more familiar with.
Because they're the 7-year champs.
Yeah,
so
and when I was in college, we never danced. It was strictly stepping. So I wanted to be able to add something different that we never did before, which was add more of the dancing with the Theta New Thetas. Though I got a lot of crap, you know, during when the movie was out, because we don't dance. That's not really us. That's not us. And then when I went back to homecoming the next year, every single fraternity, every single sorority was dancing, and they were strolling, and they were stepping.
And Larry, what was that?
Yeah, Larry, talk about your experience.
What was y'all doing in there?
Yes.
I mean, we were beasts for real. We were definitely.
Yes, I mean, wolves literally beasts.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's the truth. I mean, like,
No, you're right.
it was crazy. It was super aggressive. Like
Yeah.
our moves were super aggressive, and it stemmed from just the passion of being that wolf pack. That was like the power behind it. There was one, and I'm gonna throw myself under the bus. There was one step in particular, one move in particular that I could not get to save my life. And this is like, but I used to dance with Black. Chuck has choreographed a lot of groups and a lot of people. The group Black. Bring it on to me. Boom like an 808 and all that. That Chuck basically got me out of Chicago because he hired me to dance with Black. And that was the start of my journey, really. But there is this move that I would see as dancers that I couldn't do in as a Mu Gamma. It's that move when you are on your back, the hitch, and then you throw yourself up.
Yes.
So we're in the yard. And I couldn't get it in rehearsal. I was like, they're gonna kick me out of the scene. And even in the scene, if you look at me, you can see that I failed. Like in the movie.
Well, it's an Easter egg, everybody.
It's
For guys that
ridiculous.
are watching.
So I mean, it was mad intricate.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so we was in rehearsal and we're doing the hitch kick, and I say, Larry, you gotta get this. I'm gonna get it. Larry, you have not gotten it yet. 4 weeks, 3 weeks, 2 weeks, a week left before filming. I said, Larry, you gotta get this. No, I can play this. I got it. You're gonna get it on set, but you never got it on practice. He said, yes. Look at the film. Out of everybody, there's 20 dancers in that scene, maybe 22, 23, with the actors, and the camera went right to him, and he did not get it. When you see it, you will see him. It's in the quad. He goes out, he just rolls like this.
If you guys spot it while watching, everybody go, oh.
Oh, it's there. It's proved. It's historical.
I'm like, why wouldn't they edit that out? Though?
No, they wanted it. I thought they was gonna move the camera. They went right on you, boy. The struggle.
You're right.
Amazing.
Movies.
So I'd say the main themes of this movie are grief, love, brotherhood, and teamwork. DJ's mourning the loss of his brother, and when he goes to Truth, he not only receives loves from his aunt and uncle in April, but from the brothers he makes in Theta Nu Theta. He's known as a battler, but learns through brotherhood how to work together as a team. Can you all talk about how brotherhood not only impacted your characters, but the atmosphere on set and Columbus? Can you expand on how that brotherhood made you a better leader and performer?
Oh, great question. Awesome question. You did your homework, Opes. So there was one particular day in rehearsal. I was tired, like pooped. I was training like 5 o'clock in the morning, and I came to rehearsal, and I had my dog with me. My dog, rest in peace, Nico. And it's funny, Keith Sweat's story. He chased Keith Sweat down the street. That's how I found out how fast Keith Sweat is. That boy got wheels. So I came to rehearsal and I was tired. So I'm sleeping under the thing, and I think that's what he was talking about. He was like, you out?
Everybody, round of applause for Goofy.
Round of applause for Goofy. Thank you for coming, brother. So I'm asleep. I was asleep under this like rehearsal in this room. I was just asleep under the thing. I was getting some breath, and Dave came in mad. He was like, "Man, you gotta be a leader. You gotta be a leader." I'm like, "Man, I already got it, bro." He's like, "No." I'm like, "I'm not even in this part of the script." He's like, "No, you gotta learn everything." I said, "I already got it." He was like, "Then get up and do it right now." And I got up, and I was like, stood in front of my brothers, and did it. And that was the day that I realized, it doesn't matter how tired you are, it doesn't matter what you're going through, you show up for your teammates, you show up for your brothers, and you be a leader.
Any of you guys want to expand on that?
Like I said,
Well said, Columbus.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, I never looked at myself as a dancer like that. But after doing this movie, like literally right after production, and I flew back to LA, I was ready to battle everybody.
Yeah.
You could get it. Anybody that wanted it could get it. I have a particular story. Matter of fact, my wife's cousin, right? I told her the film that I had just did. Nobody had seen it at all, right? But she knew, I was an actor. She knew me from Fat Albert, and she was like, "Well, let's battle." I said, "You about to learn today." I said, "Do you know the set I just came? I just came from a set with 20 dancers, 40 dancers, Columbus Short, who inspired me, Chuck, Dave Scott. These are #1 essential dance choreographers. You're about to get killed." You feel me? We played some Jay-Z. It was a Jay-Z song. I don't know what it was, but when I tell you we went one round, she said, "Okay." But no, this was one of the most amazing sets I've been on. Not even that, it built character, integrity, and just how to just keep pushing forward. You know what I'm saying? Stone Mountain was crazy. like Savon White seriously.
That scene where Columbus picks you up.
Yes, so that was real.
It's the heart.
No, I was there was no acting there. Savon White told me, he said, before we say action, I need you to run up this mountain 3-4 times. And I did that. By the time he said action, this nigga come home and said, go. I said, I can't. So I strutted my tired, sweaty ass. And when I saw the scene, everybody just laughed. I said, y'all laughing at my pain for real.
That was real. Because I knew I could get up the mountain because I've been training. So I wanted to make sure all my brothers get up first. By that point, we're a team at that point, right? So when we getting up that mountain, I'm like, Jermaine, you better get up this mountain. But you don't leave your brothers behind. Moral of the story.
Love that. Let's go. I love that. Okay. So wait, before